In part D, I've left the most challenging completing the square problem for last. Very similar to what we just saw in part C, so we're slowly building on the complexity of completing the square. This is the final stage. I'm going to start with forcing a 3 to be factored out of the first two terms. Now when I force a 3 to be factored out, notice that 3 does not go evenly into 2, which means that we're going to have to use a fraction to make that work. I know that sometimes is a four-letter word for some of us. So we're going to have x squared plus 2/3 x minus 2. So I can force a 3 to come out if I allow myself to use fractions like this. Once I get that taken care of, then it goes back into the normal creative zero, factor, distribute, all that stuff. But again, you're working with a fraction now. So we are going to show all the details for this. So we'll have 3 x squared plus 2/3 x. This is where I would want to add my creative 0 minus 2. So let's talk about the creative 0. I now am going to be using 2/3, which is the coefficient for the x now, and I have to divide that by 2 and then square it. So if I'm starting with the value of 2/3 and I split that in half, then I would only have 1/3. Squaring 1/3 would then result in 1/9. So going back to my equation, f of x is 3 times x squared plus 2/3 x plus 1/9 minus 1/9, close parentheses, minus 2. We'll regroup together the first three terms, creating a perfect square trinomial, which is going to factor into x plus 1/3 squared. We still have the minus 1/9 from the creative 0 and the subtraction of 2 there at the end. So we're almost done. We still need to go back and redistribute the 3. There's the implied coefficient of 1 in front of x plus 1/3 squared, and then we'll also have to multiply to the negative 1/9. So the result of that distribution should be 3 times x plus 1/3 all squared minus 1/3 minus 2. And the only thing left is to combine the two constants here at the end, negative 1/3 minus 2. You'll want to get a common denominator to make that happen. Here's the result, 3 times x plus 1/3 squared minus 7/3. And that gets you into vertex form for this function.